Uh, Hold on. I have to make it so that I can hear myself. Okay, that's better. Adam here. The date is currently 5/29/2018, sitting in the garage. I have the microphone in a bit of a different place than I normally have it. Normally I have it like on the desk, but I suppose that doesn't matter. Yeah, so down in the garage, I was down here. I was trying to come up with demos, because I want to have like a vast pool of just like musical ideas, for whatever again. I think I'm doing an album again, another album, because I feel like I just have to, like outdo, the album that I did, because I feel it's every time I listen to the album, and I listen to it a lot, the album that I just did. It's just like, I can't stand it. Like, I can't stand that was my last, thing that I did. Like, I have to, like, the fact that it's, like, out there and, like, anybody can listen to it is motivation for me to be like, I've got to fucking, that can't be the final word. I have to fucking, move up. And, I say that, like, I'm not completely down on the album. Like, I don't hate it. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm just, like, totally against the album. Because I like it. Sometimes I feel like I'm proud of what I did, but I know I can do better than that. So, because it's like, I always think like, why are you using a guitar? There's a dog barking if you can't hear it. Why are you using a guitar? Why are you playing drums? Like, it's just, you're not even fucking, you're just taking for granted drums, like fucking standard rock beat. Like, you're not even thinking about the fact that, make the drums fucking like your own. Don't just this is just, I feel like a large part of the album, or large portions of it, were just like copy paste, so I didn't have to like consider, anything. So I could just, this is just how they normally do it. But I feel like I really want to, why, what are the drums for? Like, what are they really for? What are they really doing? And if you can figure that out, like in relation to the song, like what are the drums doing for this song? Then you can expand on that, and you have to be really specific. Like, what are the drums doing for this part in particular, and what could they do better? First of all, what are they doing wrong? And then, I really think that you have to deeply question everything that you're doing. And like, I just, I hear parts on the album, and I'm talking about Cartoon/Nightmare. I hear parts on that album where I'm just, I'm just taken for granted. Like, I'm not even thinking about it. Like, I have to think about these things more. It has to be a more detailed and nuanced thing. Cause, I was actually just watching like a classical, I think it was Dvorak's From the New World. Like, they were doing a whole symphony in like this fucking elaborate room, like this elaborate fucking theater. And, I think it's just like great things. There's like such this amazing attention to detail. And, the room that they were in, like the theater, like this fucking old time theater, like you look at the walls and just like the ceiling, and like there's just this, like, there's so much attention to detail, like everywhere, that it's just like, it's just fucking, I don't know how to, I want to say the word class, but, that sounds like, pretentious. Like, it's like a upper class thing, but I don't even think of it in that way. I think of it in like those old Gothic churches, like that one in Milan or wherever it is, where the amount of detail, like you could get you stand so far away from it, but then you get, like, you can just keep getting closer to it and just see like the never-ending detail is what's really interesting to me. Just like, something that takes like, just never ending detail. I know I'm repeating myself. What are we up to? 5 minutes? Okay, I'll keep going. I have to look now because I'm not looking at the screen. Sometimes I wonder if like I'm the only one that can decipher the fucking meaningless nonsense that I say. Because I tend to speak very vaguely and just... Because, I mean, this journal, for the most part, is just me, like trying to vomit out my ideas, in a very, like... Because there's nothing concise about this journal. It's just, I have to get these ideas out. And then, once they're out, I can listen back to them and then, like, refine the idea if it's a good idea, if I think it's worth refining. And I do the same thing with like music and stuff. Like I make just so many goddamn demos, and then I find the ones that I feel are worth fleshing out, and then I feel like that's how you have to do it. I'm just recently I just want to make something with like breathtaking detail. Like you could never get to the end of whatever it is. But, breathtaking detail, but also as part of a whole, Like, oh, what did I just press? I pressed something. I don't know what I just pressed. Who cares? It's probably not doing anything. Just breathtaking detail. And the detail is, it's like I keep thinking of, I always have, I mentioned it in the last journal, I think, where you have to cut the tree close to the root to get to the bottom of things. The detail should be an emergent property from the one root thing that you're doing. Like this, like you change one line of code and then it just has this cascading sort of effect on everything. And like you change one line of code in DNA and it's a totally different flower. You know what I mean? But just everything in the flower is just, it's the, it all fits together because it's all coming from one source, but it's just like it's blossomed out. And the more it blossoms, the more detailed it becomes. And then there's that sweet spot where it's simple enough to like comprehend, but detailed enough to like be interesting. Because I feel like there can be too much detail sometimes. Like that's sort of similar to like a person aging. Like you could think of it as like, as the person gets older, they're just becoming more you're just zooming in on them more. And, you get these details that have sort of fleshed themselves out. But, you can go too far and then something is too detailed. It's like an old person. So an old person is just a young person with too much detail. Like the errors have been fleshed out. I don't know. It's something like that. Another Jordan Peterson term that I'm just regurgitating. Copy paste. Yeah, I was actually thinking about that the other day, about how Jordan Peterson, he's associated with Kermit the Frog, but the thing is that Kermit is a puppet. So if you want to do like symbology, you could think of Kermit as just like a, if you're the frog, if Jordan Peterson's audience are all frogs, then he's the puppet master. But I don't know. I had a couple days there actually where I was like, I don't fucking like anything he's saying anymore, because I was, I agree with Jordan Peterson for the most part, but just when he starts talking about like religion and marriage, specifically marriage, like you've lost me, because we're not fucking farmers anymore. There's no need for a social contract. I feel like he just finds excuses sometimes to like defend marriage but I still feel like it's an obsolete thing. I can't, you know, I don't have the endless knowledge about it, but it's just an instinct that, you know, marriage is not needed anymore. There was something else that he's well, you know, it's mostly just like, I feel like he's, you know, he's hitting the religious angle a little bit too hard sometimes, and like the dogmatic part of it, and you know, I'm not about that. I don't like the fucking, and also he doesn't, I don't think he properly addresses the Flynn effect, because I've watched in one of his videos somewhere, he talks, you know, he addresses the Flynn effect, but he just attributes it completely to you know, diet and nutrition getting better over time. But that doesn't explain the increase from like 1960 on, because, you know, people have been eating fine since 1960 and the IQ has still increased. And also, you know, most academics who talk about the Flynn effect, the food one, most of them are pretty aware that the food explanation, you know, food and nutrition is not it's not really the whole story. So sometimes I just feel like Jordan Peterson like catastrophizes most things because he's always looking for the apocalypse. You know, like everything is way worse than he's making everything way worse than it needs to be. And so, you know, if something looks catastrophic to him, then that's what it is. You have to just accept it. That's just what it is. But sometimes I feel like, you know, the world isn't quite as bad as he wants to think it is. Because I remember in that debate he had with Matt Dillahunty, he was talking about how you can't quit smoking without a psychedelic, without I forget what the hell it is, but it's, you know, if you don't have a psychedelic experience, you can't quit smoking. And you know, that's a pretty, you know, I hope what I'm saying is getting across. Like he catastrophizes things way more than he needs to. I don't think things are as bad as he makes it out to be sometimes. Because, you know, there's that whole Christian thing where they're always... It's not only they're only always looking out for the apocalypse. It's on some level they're hoping for it to happen. And I feel like that's what he's doing sometimes. Like he's hoping that the apocalypse happens. Okay, I'm done. I have no idea. By that last minute there, I have basically no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, bye.